Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajma'in. Today, inshallah, we'll be going over from the book Learning Arabic Language of the Quran, and we'll be going over, inshallah, an introduction into the Arabic grammar. Before we begin, inshallah, I'd like to give time for the people to come and for the people to start, inshallah. Before actually we begin the class, inshallah. Inshallah, about to start in a few minutes. Just give me some time for some people to enter so I don't have to go back and forth repeating myself. Inshallah. Okay, inshallah. إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. بإذن الله, today we will start off the introduction to Arabic grammar from the book Learning Arabic Language of the Quran. The book fundamentally is a book that I consider to be just an introduction into the Arabic language. The book itself is only an introduction to Arabic language. Learning the language or learning Arabic language of the Quran, this particular book is an introduction to a basic surface understanding, explanation of Arabic grammar. So the first chapter of the book, it is talking about after the content and the foreword of the book, about the author, about the professor who wrote the book, and his preface, about the Arabic language or the esteem or the height of the Arabic language, and from the language of the Quran, the language of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and about the Arabic culture and the Arabic language related to Islam and the religion of Islam. I'm going to skip through all of these things. Then the Sheikh talks about his introduction into the book, about the language of the Quran is different from modern Arabic, which later on in the future, inshallah, I will talk about that. The Fusha, the correct. Fusha means to speak something correctly. Some people translate Fusha to be classical Arabic, but that's not the 100% meaning of Fusha. Fusha means to speak Arabic properly without mistakes or grammatical mistakes. The person who makes grammatical mistakes in the Arabic language is considered to be a ajam. Ajam, sometimes they translate it to be the non-Arabic speaker, but an ajam is anybody, whether it's Arab by blood, nasab, anybody who speaks Arabic improperly is considered to be a ajam or ajami. All right? So the fusha, it means to profess oneself in speaking Arabic. The author of the book, he mentioned the difference between there's a modern standard Arabic, what they call MSA, modern standard Arabic, and he said that the classical Arabic, the Quranic Arabic we find in the Hadith and the writing, he's saying there's a difference between them or the approach. And there is a slight difference between them, but he doesn't get into it. And I'm not going to get into it because the difference between them is not large, it's not big. The difference between these two things are not big or not large, except for maybe some rulings related to grammar and things like this. Okay, so you talk about modern Arabic. Now, modern Arabic is the systematic writing of the Arabic language. The systematic writing of today of Arabic language. That's a standard that is used in any Muslim country. There is a system of a standard modern uses of the Arabic language. If I go to Morocco, the Arabic language is used in the system, meaning the government, the education system is going to coincide with the Arabic language. As we go to Saudi Arabia, that the modern standard of the Arabic language is going to be consistent of what they use in Morocco or what's going to be used in Jordan and Jordan in the Arabic country. So the Arab can speak with any Arab from any country with the modern standard Arabic language. But the author doesn't get deep into none of these things, but it needs to be said and be used because Arabs do have dialects. Some dialects is very close to the Fusha, or considered to Old Classic Arabic or Arabiya min Zaman, but this is not the issue. You have some dialects that is very far from proper Arabic. You have some dialects is from the proper Arabic. You have some dialects is very far from proper Arabic, like the dialect they speak in Morocco, call it a Darija. This is the dialect they speak in Morocco, which has other language in it. The dialect that they speak in Egypt is very far from the proper or the modern standard Arabic. Usually the dialect is not a written language. Usually it's not a written language or the language of the country. It's not a written language, for example. So we can knock that out the way. So the Sheikh, he talks about his studies of the Arabic language or the approach to learning Arabic language from the Quran or Quranic studies or from the Quranic studies point of view. The Sheikh talk about studying Arabic. So he said, as I began to learn the Quranic Arabic about 2 decades ago in Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I started making notes of things that could help a non-Arabic speaking person in picking up the language more comfortably. So he mentioned about the Quranic Arabic. Like I said, I disagree with him in his approach because you have to differentiate between, for example, in America, people speak English, right? America is an English-speaking country. But when you go in America, people speak different slang, right? Somebody say, okay, black people in America have their own slang, have their own ebonics, for example. Somebody would say that if I go to Spanish people in America, they have their own way of using English, for example. But the standard usage of the English language in the school, government, legal system is the same English language. But people might have a dialect, an accent. People from down south, the southern part of America, Texas, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, how they speak, their accent is going to be different from the accent or how they speak English in New York City. Accent is going to be different. They might have some slang words and slang usage or some terminology that they use that is different from what people are using anywhere else, right? So Arab, or the Arab, correct word is al-Arab. The Arab, which is plural, doesn't mean one Arab. It's talking about general, all Arabs. They have the same thing with the Arabic tongue when they're speaking. What's in the book, what's in Quran, what's in Hadith, or the standard language of Arabic that's used in school, in the government, what the people speak in the street is always something different. That's anywhere you go. That's the English language. What we learn in school and what we speak on the street, in most cases, are different. There's some places in America that what they learn, they use the English in school, is the same English they use in the street. There's some places, England, another place in upstate, a place in New York on East Coast, where the people use English very properly and they speak it, right? But there's some places in America, the English they learn in school is not the English they speak in the street, correct? All right, so this is how the Arab is, the Arabs in general with the Arabic language, okay? You have some Arabs, their dialect is very close to Fusha. Just a few minutes ago with a brother from Yemen, I went to his place of business. He's talking to his workers. They have the Yemeni have their own lahja, they call it, their own accent, their own type of dialect. But when they speak Arabic, they might pronounce things a little bit different that I'm accustomed to. But when they speak, I understand majority of what they're saying because majority of all the words they're using is from the Arabic language itself. If I go to Morocco, and I've been to Morocco, their dialect, people speak in the house and on the street. I don't understand what they're saying. I don't understand what they're saying in Morocco. They call it Darija. I don't understand what they're saying because majority of the words are not Arabic. Because in Morocco, you get to look at who conquered Morocco and who's their neighboring country. So Morocco, you have Berbers who live in Morocco. So there's some of their Darija or their dialect, there's going to be some Berber words in it. Morocco's close to Spain, right? So maybe in the part of Morocco that's close to Spain, they might have some Spanish words in there. Moroccans were conquered by the French. So you're going to have some French speakers, French language in it in general. So understand, so their dialect is very far from the proper Arabic language. But the Arabic in Morocco they use in school, in the court system, in the legal system, the signs, the announcement, it is proper Arabic. So when he uses word modern Arabic that the Arabs use in the Quranic Arabic, I disagree with the author. What does he mean by modern Arabic? Because there's something called modern standard of Arabic language, which is Fusha, speaking Arabic correctly. But some grammar rules in the modern standard of Arabic might be different from the classic use of the Arabic language. Some of the classic use of the Arabic language. And Arabic language or grammar was built from the Quran. The Arabic language grammar was built by, supported by the Quran. By the Quran. MSA is close to Fusha. I told you the word Fusha, and I'm just trying to read your comments because I can't follow the comments on this on my tablet. So let me follow it on my iPad. Because somebody asked a question: is Fusha and MSA the same thing? There's very close in similarities. Some people use Fusha meaning the classical Arabic, but if you go to an Arabic dictionary, Arabic into Arabic is going to tell you Fusha is speaking Arabic language properly. Speaking Arabic language properly. All right? And the Arab in general from different countries use Fusha differently. Arabs use Fusha differently. All right? And in the Arabic language, you have a lot of ikhtilaf. You have a lot of different opinions regarding the Fusha, the Arabic language, because the Arabs had different tribes who spoke different dialects. It's considered to be Fusha. I give you a classic argument and debate. A classic one. A classic one. In Egyptians, they will say masjid, but it's masjid, right? In Egypt, they would say masjid, right? Masjid. The jim becomes a ghain. Is this proper Arabic? Is this proper Arabic? I'd like somebody to type me and tell me. Is this proper Arabic? Is this proper Arabic? I'd like somebody to type me. I'd like for somebody to tell me, is this proper Arabic? Masjid. Is this correct Arabic? Is this proper Arabic? Sister Aisha. Is this proper Arabic? Masjid. Well, some people would say, but I don't see it. It's masjid. Masjid is what is used to be proper. Masjid, the jim, right? So is masjid kata? Is this wrong? Is this a mistake? Pronouncing the jim with the ghain sound? Some people say, yes, this is a mistake. But it's not a mistake. Because Arabs have different dialects. And that jim's pronounced with the ghain sound or a G sound, this comes from a tribe in Yemen. And we know that the people of Yemen, when the companions from Yemen, when the companions of the Messenger of Allah, who opened up Fatah al-Misr, who opened Egypt to Islam, who opened up the country, this was from a tribe from Yemen. So the Egyptians picked up the lugha from the lugha of the people in Yemen. So this Fusha is part of Fusha. But many people don't understand that the Arabic language have different dialects, which is considered to be Fusha. So when we talk about Fusha, what's MSA and what is Fusha, that's something, a debate for another time. But back to the book. Back to this book. So the author says that for a few years later, I became an Arabic teacher during the course of teaching in Hyderabad in India. So he started teaching Arabic in a place in India. He started teaching Arabic in a place in India. So he started teaching Arabic in a place like India. So then I have to ask, me personally, when he taught Arabic, did he become a proficient Arabic teacher or not? This would be my personal question when I look at the book, right? That's another topic. But he said, I found that the participants in each class different adversity in social and educational background. So he's saying that the students had the understanding the education system was different, meaning that maybe because of their background or not being very educated, maybe it was hard for them to learn another language, right? And that's what we also find in America. People who come to want to learn Arabic language, we also have the same thing. So he says some had little formal education, and some others were degree holders. A few of them did not know Urdu. Some were very versed in Hindi, and the most others wanted me to explain Arabic grammar and English. I realized that if I could impact a few basic principles of the language to a learner, he or she could get a hang of the grammar and appreciate the nuance in the Quranic verses within a few weeks into the course. Right? So he made the book, he made his course for English speakers who wanted to understand the Arabic grammar. He said, other things that struck me was that there could not possibly be a single book capable of serving students who possess no formal education or had some through various stages of academic life. And that is very true, even for us in America. Some people don't have academic knowledge, academic education. When I started learning Arabic language, I did not have a high academic background. I didn't have a high academic background. So when I started learning Arabic language and somebody's talking about demonstratives, past continuous, I was like, what the heck is that? I don't even know that. What is that? I don't even know what that was. And I have a GED. And I have some college. I don't even know what that is. I have some college. I don't even know what that is. And that's the truth. In America, most Americans don't even understand English grammar or don't know English grammar and don't know the terminology for English grammar because the educational system in America is very poor. The educational system in America is very poor. And I'm able to say that because I live outside of the U.S. I lived in Canada. Canadians have better education system than America. British have a very better education system than America. In Britain, America, multiple choice on the test. In Britain, either you know the answer or you don't, for example, right? So even in America, some of the students, I notice when they come to learn Arabic, their background or their academic background is not there. So the Sheikh is saying that he had to accommodate a course that could teach Arabic to anybody, no matter what is their academic background. He said, this is the reason I told myself that there are so many books on the subject. Each one is attempting to reach out to the student in a different manner. According to my own understanding and feedback, this book could be filling up the gaps the learners might have encountered in the other books. So he made this book as a supplement to other books. He made this book as a supplement to other curriculum that is out there. So that could be stuff that is out there that's in Urdu, right? That could be other stuff that is out there in the Urdu language. If I'm breaking up, or if the camera is breaking up, somebody please let me know. If the camera is breaking up, please let me know. If the feed is breaking up, please let me know. Or somebody could type me or send me a text on my messenger. If the feed, instead of in the comment area, you can send me a message on the messenger when the feed breaks up, because I can't see the comments on this. Whoever has messenger and know me on messenger, you can send me a text when the feed is breaking up. Now, So he's saying that he basically made his curriculum to substitute other curriculum. Now, if anybody been following some of my videos that I post on my page or on my Facebook account, Abu Baraa Amreeki, on my Facebook personal account, then you notice that I post some videos related to Medina Arabic course. It's not the all in or that's it to Arabic language. All right. I posted these things. It's not the in and all or all to study of Arabic language. I mentioned that. And even the Sheikh who wrote this particular book is saying that what? He's saying that he made his course or his book, his curriculum to substitute other curriculum from things that are missing in other curriculum. He's trying to cover these things and these approaches to the reader or to the learner that he's able to learn in a certain form that could reach anybody. That's what basically what he's saying. So that goes back to those videos I made on my page about Medina Arabic course and other courses that are out there that we use in America that are made for learning Arabic that is not the all into Arabic language. I know brothers, sisters personally who study Medina Arabic course, all 3 books in America, and don't know nothing about Arabic language. Don't know nothing about Arabic language to this day. Can't hold a conversation. Can't translate nothing the Mashaykh is saying. These are other things you have to substitute the knowledge with and learn with, right? Back into the book. So the Sheikh continues to say, he said, the example I have used to explain the grammar in this book are all from Quran. The examples thus serves two purpose. They serve the basic objective of explaining a particular term and also offer the student an opportunity to understand a verse and the manner in which it has been used in the Quran. I like to say some of the examples in Quran and when it comes to Arabic language are very simple. Some of them are very complicated. All right. Some of the examples in the Quran of the Arabic language are very complicated. There's some rules in the Quran Arabic language that is very high, and you need to understand the basic of Arabic grammar to understand some ayats in Quran, because some ayats in Quran and the way that the sentence is structured is very high in Arabic language. So his approach is okay, but it's not the end all to the Arabic language. It's not the end all to the Arabic language. So you have to study other sources for information. So he continues to say, he said, in any case, it is up to the student to decide whether the book has been or any help to him or her. So he says it's up to the student, meaning it's on the level, it depends on the student's level. It depends on the student level whether he understands or not. Huh? This book might not work for every student. That's what he's trying to say. This curriculum, it might not work for a particular student. That's what he is saying. This particular book, it might not work for a particular student. It might work for some, it might not work for others. Just like we've seen other curriculum, other books out there that work for some people and don't work for other people. What's a she? If anybody's typing it, and make sure if you're talking to me, let me know. If anybody's talking to back and forth, let me know. If you're talking to me or asking me a question, let the question be clear. If something being said and it's not understood or said incorrectly, then write it out directly what you're saying. If it's conversation between two other people in the comment areas, please leave the comments for talking back and forth because it definitely will distract me. So, for he or she. So if any brother or any sister might look at this book and then he or she would say, hey, don't work out for me, then that's you. That's you. I would like to personally say, I met people who quit studying Arabic because they said, I don't like the teacher the way he teach. I'm looking for all the examples I heard. The curriculum or the book being used, I don't understand or I don't like it. I heard some is a class somewhere else and somebody else is learning. I want to go there instead. I heard them all. And those who make excuses really don't never learn. Those who make excuses never learn. You're never going to find a teacher, or all cases when you learn, you're not going to find a teacher that you're going to like. There are going to be some teachers who teach you, you're not going to like everything what they're saying. I remember I was studying Arabic in Egypt. I had one teacher, I used to love this guy. Man, everything he wrote, the way he spoke Arabic, Fusha, was very clear. Everything's made simple. He was very strong in grammar and in language. He had a way with the students. Even his handwriting was so nice. Then when I finished his class, when I finished his level, I went to another level, and the teacher was the opposite. His handwriting was poor. I didn't know what the heck he was writing most of the time on the board. No one knew in the class what this guy was writing. His Fusha was good, but the way he talked was just too fast. And then the way he explained the lesson was like vague. The way he explained was vague. But I learned, alhamdulillah. He even told me one day, I got food poisoning. And food poisoning is not something that is easy. You know, you food poison, you throw one up, you have diarrhea at the same time. You have fever. I had food poisoning, so I missed like 2 days, 3 days. He told me, you know what he told me? He said, where you was at? Why you didn't come to class? He's telling me in Arabic. Why you missed your class? Why you didn't come? I said, I had food poisoning, was sick. You know what he told me? He said, you lazy. He said, you lazy. He told me it's like that. He said, you missed 3 days? You're lazy. I said, lazy? I said, got food poisoning. You know, that's a murder. This is disease, you food poison. Mumkin amut. So maybe I'm going to die. He said, Anta kaslan. He said, Anta kaslan. He said, you're lazy. He told me you're lazy. Then he told me, Sheikh Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, wa marid. He said, Sheikh Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, was sick with cancer. So he told me in Arabic. And he said, the Sheikh used to have durus on a radio show. And he said, the Sheikh used to go to the show, and he was sick from cancer. He used to lay down, and he used to put the mic by his face, and he used to give his durus like that. That's my teacher used to tell me. He used to say, you're lazy. And I had food poisoning. I only missed 3 days. So you're going to have teachers that are harsh. You're going to have teachers that are nice. When you have a teacher that is harsh, do you quit? No, you don't quit. All right? So he says here in the book that maybe the book might suit some people's needs, and it might not suit some people's needs. Huh? So it doesn't mean that you quit. You quit. Right now, I'm studying personally with my teacher. I'm going over a book. It's called An-Nahwu al-Wadih. Now, Nahwu al-Wadih, it's like there's a lot of grammar. It's grammar, but it's come through the way the book is made is from questions. It's from examples and then explain. It's very simple, right? And it's very easy. This is easy. Then there's another book. It's called, I'm trying to think of the name in grammar. I'll cut to the another. I think it's called Cut to the Nada. It's another book in Arabic grammar. It's a classical book. Very hard. Some of the explanations are very hard. Examples are very hard. Right? Does it mean that I quit the book? Does that mean I jump out the class? If the book is for my level and it's hard for me, and the book is on my level or is made for my level, does it mean I quit? Or my teacher is not nice with me, do I mean I quit? No. So you can't make an excuse that because the book doesn't suit my needs, or the book, I don't like it, or its approach, does it mean that you quit learning from that book or from that teacher? I had met people when I was studying Arabic in Egypt. I had companions of mine that I personally knew. We went to Egypt together and we studied. And one of my companions, the same teacher I had that told him I was lazy, it was his teacher too. So he quit. My companion, he quit. He went to another school. Then he went to another school. Teacher said something he didn't like. He quit and went to another school. At the end of it, it was three of us. Myself, my companion who kept on quitting, going to different schools, and another companion. When I was there, the school closed. When the government closed the school, I left. My companion who was going from school to school to school, he was already out to school by that time. And I had another companion who stayed when the school closed. The school had another location in another city, another province. It was very far away. He went, right? I left because it got shut down. So I learned a lot from Arabic language. I stayed with the program for the 6 months. When they closed down, when the government closed, I left. I went back home. The brother went from different school. He went to Al Cordoba. I remember. He went to Al Cordoba. Then he went to Fajr Center. Then he went to Al Ibana. And he went to another school. To this day, he didn't learn nothing about Arabic. He didn't learn Arabic. My friend who stayed for the longest, after I left, right now he's in Medina University studying the Kuliya of Sharia. The guy who kept on going to school, to different school, didn't like it, and kept on going from different school. He knows nothing about Arabic language. Matter of fact, his wife even stayed with the school, and she finished the whole program. And himself today, he didn't learn nothing about the Arabic language. He can't sit in you and tell you anything about the books in Arabic. Myself, I left, but I continued my studies, and I came back to Egypt, and I continued my studies. So if you don't like the teacher, you don't like the book, it's not an excuse to quit. And that's one of the biggest shortcomings of many people who study Arabic in non-Arabic speaking countries like in America and in Canada, is that they don't like the curriculum, they don't like the teacher, they quit. So you will never learn that way. Now, continuation. I want to finish this introduction of the person. So he said, I use the English translation of the verses from a certain author, I can't pronounce his name, Anisuddin, the Holy Quran, published by Islamic Academy of Science in Hyderabad, India, and Dr. Abdullah Abbas al-Nadawi, book Learning the Language of the Holy Quran. I think Dr. Abdullah Abbas al-Nadawi, he has other curriculum they even use in Medina University from the Arabic Institute. There's some books called Stories of the Prophets. They use it in the Medina Institute for Arabic, and they have this curriculum also you could buy. I'll try to post them. Is the books for a Qira'at. Actually, in the Medina, the Mahad for the books of Qira'at in Medina, in the Mahad for Medina University, is his works, actually. The books for Qira'at, which is basically stories of the prophets and things like this for reading and for vocabulary, actually is Dr. Abdullah Abbas Nadwi. That's his curriculum, actually. He said, learn the Arabic or learning language of the Holy Quran has been a great help. He said that does not claim to teach Arabic grammar in its entirety. It provides fundamental knowledge of grammar that is used in the Quran. It can be safely said that once a student goes through the entire course that he has encapsulated in this book, he or she will begin to understand the meaning of the Quran in its right perspective. And we know understanding of the Quran is essential to appreciate the practice Islam in its true sense. He said, I'm looking forward to your comments and suggestions so as to improve the book in future editions. Okay, I have a different opinion from this. He says that this particular book will help you to understand Quran. And I don't 100 because I looked at the book and I'm saying no, it will not. It will give you a surface understanding of Arabic grammar and some simple text of the Quran to understand it, but you need to do a lot of studying of Arabic language, sarf, morphology, and examples, and that will give you a good understanding to understand the Quran in the right courses and learning Arabic and Arabic. So I will skip through the acknowledgement. I don't have time for that. But we will go to the first lesson. So chapter 1. Chapter 1 in the Arabic language is covering al-kalimat, word. It says a unit is used of spoken or written language. Example, kitabun, a book. Alima, which is a verb. He knew. Kataba, which means he wrote or he writes, that he wrote. He said the kinds of words, anwana kalimat. There are 3 kinds of words. The first one is called al-ism, noun. Second one is called al-fi'lu, verb. Third one is called al-harf, particle. I disagree with al-ism being titled as a noun. This is incorrect. Okay, if you go to books like Al-Jurumiyya, or Afir ibn Malik, any books al-Muqaddim fi Nahu, or Mustawa Aliyya fi Nahu, or at a high level in Nahu, ism does not mean noun. A noun is part of an ism. So today, what I try to go, it says the noun, the ism, a noun is the name of a person, animal, place, or thing. That is correct. But an ism in Arabic is not a noun only. So in Arabic language, an ism is also an adverb, an adjective. So it means a pronoun, an adjective, an adverb, and some injections. All right. So in Arabic, that is an ism. In English, that is part of the 8 parts of speech in English. In Arabic language, al-ism is the name of all things. The name of all things, whether it's people, person, animal, a living object, a non-living object, plant life. Asma al-kullu shay. Asma kullu shay. Asma, all things. Asma kulli shay is the name of all things. Al-asma li kulli shay is the name for all things. Is considered to be al-ism. So it's a noun, it is a pronoun, it is an adverb, it is a demonstrative, all right? Not a demonstrative. Demonstrative really falls under the participle, all right? So al-ism is the name of all things, nouns, adjectives. For example, kitab, which is a book. This is a noun. Kabirun, which means big, is an adjective. This is considered to be an ism. All these things, the simplest form I could put it, all these things fall under ism. So it's not noun only, because the word noun in Arabic is alam, al-alam. Then you have a jins al-alam. So a proper noun and a common noun and a proper noun, that have particular words in Arabic grammar. All right? And al-alam is a noun. But an ism is a noun, adjective, pronouns, adverbs is considered to be an ism in Arabic. So when I talk about Arabic language, as sifat, an adjective, this is an ism. An ism in Arabic language, which he doesn't explain here, Majority of the case, it accepts tanween. Majority of the case with an ism in Arabic, it accepts tanween. It accepts tanween. Kitabun. So an ism is either going to be definite or indefinite in Arabic language. And it's going to accept, in most cases, not all cases, alif wa lam. Alif wa lam. Because pronouns are an ism. Pronouns are an ism. Dama'ir. These are pronouns in Arabic. Anta, anti, huwa. They don't accept alif lam on there, even though they are definite without alif lam. Alif lam in Arabic means that this particle for the. Right? Al-masjid. Al-masjidu. Huh? So alif lam on a noun is a sign that it's an ism. And accepting tanween. Un, an, in. In some cases, it becomes damma, kasra, fatha. Huh? Dammatain, kasratain, or kasratan, fatatan, kasratan, dammatan. Or going to be damma, or fatha, or kasra, due to having the definite article, which is called al-marif in front of it. All right? So that's something he didn't explain well in the book. Right? So he said there's three parts of speech. So you said al-ism. Al-ism doesn't mean nouns only. It means nouns, adjectives, adverbs. And that's the issue when you study Arabic and English. When you study Arabic and Arabic, you're going to understand what I'm explaining to you. Because if I could take what's in my brain, I wish I could take what's in my brain and put it in your brain. If I could take in my brain from studying Arabic and Arabic language, if I say what is an ism in Arabic, it's more easy to comprehend these things in Arabic language. Asma'u kullu shay. Asma' kullu shay. Asma' kullu shay. What that means in Arabic, the names of all things. Al-jamad, non-living objects. Hayawan, animals. Nabat, plant life. Insan, people. Asma' kullu shay. The name of all things is al-ism. Well, it's a sifat. هذا رجل كبير. This man is old in his age. Kabir is a what? An adjective. Is the English, is an adjective a noun? No. In the English language, an adjective is not a noun. But in Arabic language, yes, it's considered to what they consider here as a noun. But it's not a noun. So if I understand English well, English grammar well, and I say ism means a noun, and someone that says, oh, an adjective is an ism in Arabic, you're going to lose. You're like, what? That don't make sense. So I'm making it simple because it doesn't explain it too well here in this chapter. And ism is the name of all things. What I said, it's a noun. A noun in Arabic is called al-alam. You have jism al-alam. That's related to common and uncommon nouns. So it is a what? Al-ism is a what? A noun, an adjective, an adverb, and some integers. Okay. Then number two, al-fi'lu. Before we get into number two, he wrote some examples of nouns. So let's look at them. Let's read from Arabic right to left. So looking on the right-hand side, qamarun, moon, shamsun, sun, laylatun, night, naharun, morning, qiyamah or qiyamatun, the day of judgment. It puts doomdays, the doomsday, but it means the day of judgment, the day of standing, the day of reckoning. Filun, elephants. Hablun, rope. Baladun means city or country. Ainun means spring and eye. It means also spring, eye, and place. Ain also means place. Spring, eye, and place. In Arabic language, one word can have multiple usage. Ain is a good example. Ain means the eye, In that case, in grammar, it'd be phenomenon. It means water spring. That case, it would be another case. And it also means a place. Mu'ayyin. Mu'ayyin. We say in Arabic, mu'ayyin. Hada shay mu'ayyin, particular. But it means al-makan. A makan, a place. All right? Najm. Najm means star. Then we have the word Allah. We have Muhammadun, which is a common noun. Hajarun, which means a stone. Farasun means a horse. Jannatun means garden. Nakhilun, which means a palm tree. Narun, which means fire. Tayrun, which means bird. Jiddun. Jidun. Jidun means neck. Also unuk. Unuk is a common word. But jidun is most close to a Quranic word. Wajhun, face. So look at all these nouns. What do you notice about them? The endings of it. Every last one of them ends with tanween. Every last one of them ends with tanween. Every last word ends with tanween. Except for Allah. Tanween in Arabic language. What does tanween mean in Arabic language? What is the usage of tanween? Do anybody here know the usage of tanween? Somebody tell me yes, or somebody tell me no. Somebody type out in a comment, yes or no. What is the usage of tanween in Arabic language? Somebody type to me. Somebody. We got at least 4 viewers here. Somebody can type to me what it means. Nakira, barakallahu fikum. Somebody said it means indefinite. And that's what it means in Arabic grammar. It means indefinite. Nakira. Right? So the word ending in tanween, tanween is the sign of a what? Ism. Tanween is a sign of an ism. Now the person who wrote Saleh, what is Allah? Allah. Is it nakhira? Al-kalimat Allah. Hal hiya nakhira am la? Allah. I'm talking about Allah now. Allah cannot be indefinite. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Okay, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is indefinite. Ma'rifa. Barakallahu fikum. He said it's definite. Allah does not accept tanween. Why? Because Allah is what? Definite. So the definite article in Arabic is what? Alif wa lam. To make a word definite in Arabic language. In Arabic language. You must make what? You must make the word what? Alif lam, marifa. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can never be nakhira. Can never be indefinite in Arabic. Allah is definite. As part of Aqidah, Aql Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is why you never see on the word Allah a tanween. Never. Huh? Bismillahi. Huh? Naqtullahi. Huh? Kitabullahi. Huh? Inna Allah. Huh? So, Allah is definite. So here in Arabic language, to make a noun definite, a definite article, you must add on it alif lam. Alif lam. Right? For example, once the alif lam ends, or alif lam, is on a word, the ending of the word never accepts tanween, because alif lam represents that the word is definite, what we call a ma'rifa. So we only could be one mark. Al-kitabu, the book. A book, kitabun. 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 Ending with what? Damatan. Why? Because the word kitabun is what? Indefinite. I put alif lam on the word, no longer does it accept tanween. Because tanween, damatan, the damatan represents what? The Damatan here, it represents that the word is what? Indefinite. So I put Alif Lam. It has only ending in one mark. Ending in one mark. Al-Kitabu. Alright? So the Tanween, Damatan, Kasratan, Fatatan, represents at the end of the word that the word is indefinite, and it represents that this particular word is at al-ism. 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 Alright? Al-ism. So in every book in Nahu, any book in Nahu, all books of Nahu, whether it's in the Arabic language, begins their durus on what I'm just talking about. معنى كلام معنى كلام في الأرجمية الكلام هو اللفظ المركب المفيد بالوعد. هذا من الأرجمية من متن من الأرجمية, the famous book called Al-Arjumiyya, the Sheikh Rahimullah was from Maghrib, from Morocco. He has a famous book. It's called Al-Arjumiyya. Arjumiyya is a maqaddam fi al-Nahu. It's an introduction in Nahu, right? Any book, Alfiya ibn Malik, any book in Nahu, any book, famous book in Arabic language, on Arabic grammar in the Arabic language, kullu kutub, every book, يبدأ بهذا معنى كلام وكلمات. الكلام هو الأصل المركب المفيد بالواضع. When I added here about the tanween and alif lam on the word, this is an introduction into Alfiya ibn Malik. So a book like this that we have in front of us will help you understand these bigger books in Arabic language. So you're getting a very big benefit, right? So tanween, damatan, kasratan, fatatan, and alif lam on the word, the particle al was iktilaf. So iktilaf in this. Some ulama say alif wa lam, and some ulama says al, like this, right? But it's the definite particle in Arabic language, which is equivalent in English to the. So when I say this on the word, or at the end of a word, this is a sign that this word is an ism. It is what? An ism. All right? So I'm not going to say the term noun. I'm going to use the correct term in Arabic. It's called al-ism. All right? And the plural of ism is al-asma. So this al-ism. So ism is what in Arabic? A noun, an adjective, an adverb, and some interjections. Right? This is an ism. Pronouns. Pronouns are considered to be ism. What are pronouns in Arabic? Some people have already an Arabic background. Pronouns in Arabic, for example, this was called anta, anti, hum, hunna, humma. These pronouns in Arabic, they are considered to be what? Ism. Ismu mawsula. Alladhi, allati. These are all considered to be what? Ism in Arabic language. All of these things are considered to be ism in Arabic language. All right? So we have a good introduction to ism, right? This is an introduction. We ain't touch about is a lot of things to ism. What is an ism in Arabic language? We're not ready there. I just gave you a little bit taste, and for those people who already have a little bit background in Arabic grammar, right? Then it continues in the book, said verbs. So the parts of speech is what? 3. The parts of speech in Arabic language is what? 3. No one forget that. And never forget the order. There's hikmah in the ulama, the wisdom of the ulama when they said al-kalam, anwan al-kalam, or jaza' al-kalam al-thalatha, al-ism, wal-fi'lu, wal-harf. These are the 3 parts of speech in Arabic. Al-ism, I defined it already. Al-fi'lu, which means verbs. Al-harf means particles. I will define what is verbs and what is particles. Try to do it better than what they explain in the book. So verbs in Arabic language, it says verbs denote actions in relation to past, present, or future tense. Right? So verbs in Arabic is related to what? Time, the key. time on 3 emphasis. Time on 3 emphasis. Past, present, and future. Right? Past, present, and future. Verbs and fi'lu is related to what? 3 emphasis. Past, present, future. We call in Arabic الماضي في زمان ماضي والمضارع now المضارع والمستقبل future tense. زمان ماضي مضارع الحاضر الآن وقت الآن والمستقبل in the future. So verbs is related to what? 3 tense. Right? Don't skip Saleh. I don't want to jump. Everybody's not ready for that right now. Inshallah, we're not ready for that. Everybody in class not ready for that one. Inshallah. Because verbs is special chapters in the back of the book. Then we get into what is mudara, what amr, al-amr al-mudara. What about the nas هنا في مستوى في بداية مستوى في النحو أو كيف ناس يدرس عربية يعني إن شاء الله يدرس عربية شيء فشيء ماذا صح أولا was a person who studied نحو studied what is easy first the first مستوى the first level ماذا صح له في النحو مثلا الكلام what is speech things like this. Verbs very difficult in Arabic language, so it's very important to get the basic foundation. But today we're not getting that. Today we're just talking about the 3 parts of speech. All right. So verbs from the parts of the speech is the second. The first one is ism, al-ism. The second one is al-fi'lu, verb. The third one is al-particles. So let's go over verbs. Verbs are concise or emphasis on 3 times: past, present, future. That's all we need to understand for tonight. Verbs related to what? Past, past tense, present tense, future tense. About verbs, conjugating verbs, do that in the middle of the book. Majority of the chapters in this book are related to verbs. الصرف والتصريف والوازن في أفعال. The majority of this book is related to verbs. So I said in some other videos on my page on Facebook, I made some videos. I talked about things. I think on this page I made a video about the content of this book, and I mentioned verbs, and I said it many times. If you don't understand verbs, and don't master verbs, you'll never understand Arabic language, because all words, all nouns, majority of all nouns come from a verb. All nouns come from a verb. So the Sheikh says, الاسم والفعل اسم والفعل وحرف. So he is continuing with verbs. He put, for example, fataha. He opened. Fataha is a past tense verb. And there's a pronoun in here, but it's hidden pronoun. We'll learn that later on. Yadribu, which is a present tense verb, for he hits. Isma, which is the commandment verb, which is for mustaqbil, future tense. La tunsur, do not help, which is also future tense. So he mentioned these, but he didn't get in detail like I get in details. There's a lot more science to this, the second part. A lot more science to the verbs. He just gave you a little taste. A little taste on the tongue. That's what he gave you. It's a little taste, right? But it's a lot more to this. Then he mentioned for the third one, particles. What is the particles in Arabic? Al-harfu. Particles in Arabic, he said, it is a word which does not convey a complete meaning when it stands alone. Yes. For example, fi. Fi buyutillah adina asma. In the houses of Allah, adina, or mentioning asma, mentioning the names of Allah. All right. So fi, is a particle. It means in. An, for example, an Abi Hurairata radiyallahu anhu qala. You hear this? An. You hear this all the time. You hear the hadith. An Abi Hurairata. An is a particle. Alif wa lam, L is a particle. La is a particle. By itself, the meaning doesn't convey anything. For example, if I say to you, la, you're going to say لا في لغة عربية إذا نحن نتكلم إن شاء الله شيء في اللغة العربية الحوار بين الناس أحدث بين الناس إذا أقول لشخص في لغة عربية لا من يسمع سيقول ماذا يقصد بهذا الكلام لا you say no what and the listener have to hear you say no the la doesn't convey what you're saying. If I say fi, which means in, using it just by myself, it doesn't convey what you're saying. So particles in Arabic, which he doesn't, I don't know, he doesn't give it a define. He doesn't talk, I'm going to use it. He does say it. He says, it means in a sentence only when it's used with a verb or a noun or both. The particle does not indicate the past, present, or future tense. He give an example, for example, men, wa'an, right? And there's a lot more. Fi, wa'ala, wa'fawka, tahta. All these words are particles. La, na'am. I remember a few years ago was a brother. He used to talk ill about Umar radiallahu anhu. And talk about the brother himself say, talk about Sahabas like there's some dude in the street, right? When he say things. So the guy, he's after the people like he know the deen. So he says to people, I know Arabic. So I see him in the class, and the person being said to him, writing down the particles in Arabic, he writes down la. This imbecile, this jahil person say, la is an ism. La is an ism in Arabic. La is not an ism. Because an ism conveys a meaning. If I say to you in Arabic, kitabun, it's a book. It conveys the meaning. Al-mahmul is a cell phone. It conveys a meaning. Kitab, book. Kitab, it conveys the meaning. If I say la, it doesn't convey anything. It has to be used with a noun or a verb. La tajlis, do not sit there. La tajlis hunak, do not sit there. La, so to convey the meaning, it must use it for something. La ilaha illallah. It conveys the meaning. So using the particle by itself, like the particle you just learned from me, for the definite article. El. If I say el, it doesn't convey no meaning. I need to use a noun. I usually need the ism, an adjective, or a verb with it to convey a meaning. But el is not attached to a verb. That's one thing. That's some signs. Here we go. Let's drop it now. So we learned from today. Ism, fi'lu wa harf. All right. Before I convey something, alif lam, the particle alif lam al is not attached to no harf, no particles. You don't attach alif lam to min or man. Man hada, who is this? I'll say al man. No, because man or min is a particle. It's a harf. It's not a ism. That's the sign, huh? It's the hikmah of Arabic language. Alif wa lam is a particle that's restricted only to al-asma, to the ism. Al-rajul, alif lam, on rajul, ra or huruf shamsiyya, al-rajul, huh? Al-muslim, it's the sign of the word is a noun. Al-kabir, the one who is old. Al-awwal, the one who is first. So alif lam is only restricted to certain types of ism. Alif lam and tanween, damatan, kasratan, fatatan, kasratan, damatan, and never attach to a verb or never attached to a particle, al-harf. So alif lam, al, and the tanween never attached to a verb and never attached to a particle. It's only related to certain groups of asma. Hikmah, thinking, the barakah and the benefit and the blessings of knowing Arabic language. All right? So this is how I'm in Arabic, how I'm able to break down the verses in the Quran grammatically. That's why ism, wa fi'lu, wa harf is very important in Arabic language. So I'm able to now break down an-nahu, al-i'rab, analyze the grammatical structure of the sentence in Arabic. I need to understand what is an ism, what are the signs of an ism, what's the signs of a fi'lu, a verb in Arabic, whether it's in the past, present, or future. Look at the example we gave for the verbs in the book. Fataha. You notice there's no alif lam on the word, and there's not any no tanween. Past tense verbs, mabni. Past tense verbs are fixed on fatha. You notice fataha, the first verb, is past tense verb, and it ends with what? Fatha. The present tense verb, yadrib, yadribu, is dhamma. So it can change to be dhamma or jism or fatha. No verbs, past, present, or future. No verbs end with kasra. And no verbs end with tanween. Some of the science. You never add on the verb, alif lam. So particles, al-harf, is related to working within the sentence. Working in the sentence. Working with the word. Or working with the verb to give it meaning. So, for example, ism, fi'l, wa harf. Let's look at the difference between ism, fi'l, wa harf. I'm going to give you two examples. Ism, fi'l, wa harf. First, why the ulama break down ism, fi'l, wa harf? Why in this order? Why al-ism awwal? Why is ism mentioned first? Why al-fi'l was mentioned second? Why al-harf is mentioned last? The wisdom of it is, majority of all words in Arabic are al-ism. Majority of all words in Arabic is al-ism. Even though that the root of most ism or asma or ism in Arabic, the root word comes from a verb. But from that root verb, you make multiple words. For example, kataba means he wrote. How many words I get from kataba? I get kitabun. From kitabun, I get what? Al-kutub, the plural. I get kitaba, the keyboard. Al-katib, the writing. Maktub, something that is written. Look how many words. Maktaba, maktaba, the library. Maktab, the desk or office. So look how many words come from that one verb. So majority of words in Arabic are al-ism. That's why the scholars put it in that order, al-ism. Then what? Most words after al-ism are verbs. Then most words after the verb are al-harf. Al-harf, then you can sum them up easy to sum up harf, right? That's why. So why ism, fi'lu, harf? Ism, fi'lu, wa harf, wa ism, wa fi'lu, wa harf in Arabic grammar is just like the Arabic letters. For example, look at jim, ha, and kha. Everyone listen again. Look at jim, ha, and kha. What is the difference between these three letters and writing them? What is the difference when you look at them? Let me write them down. Let's write them down in Arabic. Let's take a look at them. I wrote it down in the comment section. Let's take a look at it. Jin, ha, and kha. Somebody tell me by looking at what is the difference between them. There's relationship or similarity between this and ism wa fi'l wa harf. What is it? Somebody write down in the comment section. I wrote, what is the difference between these three letters? Look at them. I'm not talking about pronunciation. Look at these three letters. What is the difference between them? Somebody tell me. Somebody. Salah, tafaddal. This person Salah, he gave me all the answers. Come on, give me the answers. Say Abu Dawood, mashallah, the dot. Excellent. Mumtaz, accent. The dot. So from these three letters, the Jim, it has a dot, but it's on the bottom. Ha has no dot. And the last one, Kha, the dot is on the top. Why the dot is very important between these three letters? First of all, these three letters are all shaped the same way. These three letters, they all are shaped the same way. So for me to differentiate between them in the writing, and the usage, and the reading, I have to differentiate between them, and that's when we come with the dots. The dot let me see the difference between the three letters because they both are shaped the same. The Jim dot is on the bottom. Ha has no dot. Kha has a dot on top, and I'm able to differentiate between the three letters. That is like al-ism wa al-fi'l wa al-harf in the Arabic grammar and Arabic language. I'm able to differentiate between the words in Arabic. What is an ism? What is a verb? And what is a particle? Because they're not the same, but they're all part of the Arabic language. So ism, al-fi'l wa harf is very crucial and important, and no matter what book you study in Arabic language, what level it is, whether it's in Arabic language itself, every scholar in Nahu begins their book on that concept. Anwa' al-kalam or kalimat or kalam. That's how it goes. Al-Aruzumiyya, al-kalam huwa lafz al-murakkab al-mufid bil-wadi'. What is speech? Speech is what? Al-kalam huwa lafz. Something's coming out from the mouth, articulate from the Arabic language. Al-lafz al-murakkab, 2 words or more. Al-mufid, beneficial, understanding Arabic. Bil-wadi', use how Arabic use Arabic. Then they say, anwa' al-kalam, al-ism wa fi'l wa harf. And the different type of speech is al-ism wa fi'l wa harf. So al-ism wal-fi'l wa harf fi lugha Arabiyya. Al-ism wal-fi'l wa harf in the Arabic language allows me to differentiate when a word comes in Arabic, I know where the word falls. Ar-rajul, this is an ism. Why ar-rajul, which means the man, is an ism? Because it has alif lam on the word. It has dhamma. Without alif lam, if alif lam was not on the word, then it would be tanween, rajulun. It's the name of a thing, a man. It is an ism. Ar-rajul, kabir, the big man. The man is old. Al-kabir, ar-rajul al-kabir. The man is old. What is kabir? Kabir is from a sifat. It's an adjective, but it's a what? Al-ism, because it's the name of something. It's naming something. It is big or old. It is al-ism. And it has alif lam could be placed in the word or not, if I choose to, and it ends in tanween. Kabirun. Kabirun could be what? At the end of it, so there's an ism. Ar-rajul kabirun fi bayti. The old man is in my house. Fi. What is fi? Where it falls in Arabic? Is it an ism? La. Because there's no alif lam on it. It doesn't set tanween. And the meaning is not conveyed by itself. So this is a what? Al-harf, a particle. Fi. Fil bayti. That is bait. That there, it is a what? Al-ism. Bait. Bayti. Here, the ya, meaning the ownership of something. That is a what? It is what? Salah. ضمائر صح ضمائر من أين الاسم and the pronoun is what الاسم. Now if I say درب Muhammad or كتب Muhammad كتابا, Muhammad wrote a book. كتب Muhammad, كتب محمد كتابا, Muhammad wrote a book. What's كتب? كتب is what? فعل الماضي, past tense verb. So there's what? So I'm able to analyze and break down the sentence grammatically in Arabic language. All right, so this is why al-ism wa fi'l wa harf is very important in the Arabic language. Then we're going to go into the Sheikh now. He's breaking down what is a noun. And we're going to end with that section, this section right here. So now the Sheikh is going into what I was saying. He says, nouns are divided into two kinds. Al-naqira wa al-marifa. Al-naqira means indefinite. What marifa means definite. I don't believe in using the word nouns. Because in Arabic, in English language, sifat is not a noun. An adjective is not a noun in the English language. It's not a noun. If you look at adjective, it's not going to say noun. Look at nouns, it's going to say nouns and pronouns and common nouns. Common and uncommon nouns. That's why I understand English. Nouns is not an adjective. Adjective is describing something, description word. That's why in English the parts of speech is not 3, it's 6. So this is not 100% correct. It should be al-ism. Al-ism is not 100% translated to noun, even though they put this in the book. It is not correct because I translate noun in Arabic. It's called al-alam. Al-alam. This is the correct word for a noun in Arabic. Al-alam. We have al-alam al-jinsiyya. Common and uncommon nouns in Arabic language, meaning Muhammad. Muhammad is a noun. What type of noun? It's a common noun. That's why the word Muhammadun doesn't have alif lam on Muhammad. Don't write al-Muhammad. Al-Fatima. We don't write this in Arabic language. It's a common noun. So al-alam is a noun. So al-ism doesn't describe the proper noun. Is not a correct definition for al-ism. Noun is close, but it's not a correct definition. Al-ism is what? Somebody write down. Who told me? Somebody tell me. Somebody type down in the comments. What is al-ism in Arabic? Before we go into breaking down what is a noun. Abu Dawood. Saleh. What is al-ism? What is the definition of ism for what I said? I said it more than twice. I said it more than 3 times. What is al-ism? The name of everything. Give me some examples. The name of all things, everything. People, animals, non-living object, animated objects, and plant life. All right? That's a quick definition. All right? The name of all things, everything. From people, insan, hayawan, animals, nabat, plant life, jamad, non-living objects or object. Right? Adjective, adverbs, what else? Adjective, adverbs. I'm going to type some of them out for you. Pronouns. Adjective. English nouns include pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, and some interjections. All right? Everyone have to get that. Must know that. Must know that ism, because it's not correct to say, right, ism means now. That's not 100% correct. All right? Because I mentioned that I mentioned the adjective, people are going to be confused. You know, this is the confusing part when you explain Arabic and English and they use this type of term. This noun. This doesn't mean noun only. All right? But the general noun in Arabic, this rule, what he's about to mention, is related to it. And now, the definite and indefinite articles. So he writes, indefinite nouns, asma'u naqira, right, are names given in general to living or non-living things, common nouns. He said indefinite nouns ends with notation, tanween, dammatan, kasratan, fattatan. Example, he writes, reading from right to left, sama'un, sky. Next, adabun, punishment. Next to it, rajulun, a man. Sama'un, sky. Ardun, earth. Suratun, form or picture or image. It really means image or picture. Suratun. Jabalun, mountain. Rajulun, man. Imra'atun, I'm not reading in the right order, I'm sorry. Woman. Samakun, fish. Ma'un, water. Malakun, kingdom. So all these nouns are nakhira, indefinite. Why? Because it ends with tanween. And a tanween can be damatang, kasratang, fatatang. There's something have to come along to make it kasratang or fatatang. Let everybody understand that now. But later on, when we get deeper into the lessons in the book, we will see that. But there's something, some other particle or verb will come and make the noun, this particular noun, into kasratang or fatatang. For example, fi beitin. The word is beitun. Beitun means a house. Beitun, right? A house is indefinite. Ends with tanween. If I say put fi in front of it, fi beitin, it ends with kasratang because fi is a harf, a particle called harfu jar, a harfu jarrin, a harfu al-jarri, right? Harfu jarrin is the pulling letter, meaning that it makes al-ism ba'duha khasra, or majrur, meaning kasra, ending kasra. So, fi beitin, fi kitabin, fi rajulan, huh? Fi sama'in, right? Like this. So some things make it into kasratang and damatang. We learn that later on in the book. In this book, when we get there, when you have a good introduction of the standard of grammar from what he's presenting in the book, then he will introduce what changes this and what makes that related to the ending vowels. All right? So when it has tanween, we know that tanween at the end of the word, that it means that the word is what? Al-ism, and that is what? Indefinite. That's why you don't see on verbs tanween. You don't see on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kalimatu, kalimat, the wording, Allah. You don't say Allahun, qata shadid if you look at Arabiya. Qata. Allahu. Inna Allah. Huh? Billahi. Wallahi. Tillahi. في مثال ولا هذا مثال, right? This example. Al-asma marifa. So now he's talking about asma al-marifa. Asma al-marifa means the proper nouns given to certain people, places, or an object. For example, asma al-marifa. For example, Nuhin, the prophets, Hamidun, Ahmadu, Ibrahimu. There's no alif lam written on these words, but it's marifa because it's a common noun. I'll give you another example of this later on, but this is very simple. But I want to read the next. Continue reading. Important characteristics of a noun. The following are some important characteristics of a noun. 1. A noun usually have a notation on it, meaning tanween. Example, Baytun, Kursiyun, Kalamun, Kitabun, Rasulun. 2. There are two conditions in which the notation tanween is dropped. Right? It's the case now you lose it. I gave you some examples in the beginning. The indefinite noun can be changed to definite by adding the prefix alif lam or el, which is the definite article, and the notation that tanween is dropped. For example, bentun means girl. and I put L in front of it. L means the, and plus the word bintun. Now put it together, El bintu. And no longer accept tanween, only accept one mark, ending in one mark. Make it simple. Ending in what? Somebody tell me. El bintu ends in how many marks? Saleh. Ya Abu Dawood ends in one mark. El bintu, one mark or two marks are ending with. One vowel or two vowels. El bintu, how many vowels is it ending with? The ending vowel. Al-Rirab. Yalla. One. Accent. Abu Dawood. He said ends in one. Why? Abu Dawood. Why does it end in one mark? Why ends in one mark? Why? Abu Dawood. Why ends with one mark? Excellent. He said Alif, Lam, and Tanween can't coexist. Allahu Akbar. Accent. Correct answer. Very simple. Arabic grammar makes sense. I said everybody. Arabic grammar makes sense. Come on, man. I'm a high school dropout. I got a GED. And I'm telling you right now, Arabic language, Arabic grammar, it makes sense. It's like putting the puzzle piece together. It's like math. The only thing you got to do is memorize the formula. Let's memorize the patterns. That's all it is. Arabic, it just makes sense. Don't even think about it. Why this rules that way? Why it has to be this way? No, let's memorize the pattern. Don't even think. I tell people when it comes to Arabic, don't think. Don't contemplate. Let's memorize the qawaid. Once you memorize and understand the qawaid, then you'll find how everything makes sense. You just see on your own one day. It's click in your head. It's click in your head like I'm explaining the rules to you now. It's just one day's going to click in your head. Let's memorize the qawaid. So when Alif Lam is in front of a noun, it doesn't only have one mark. It doesn't accept tanween. That's it. That's all to that. There's no hard thinking. There's no hard debating. There's no hard questioning. This is how it goes. That's all it is. That's how Arabic is. Arabic is people don't know why, but why? When it comes to Arabic, don't ask the why. Just memorize the qawaid. Memorize the qawaid and the mental fi qawaid. Memorize the principles and the qawaid for it. That's it. And then when you have a lot of qawaid for you, or from Nahu, then one day you're going to sit down and you're going to say, wow, how that makes sense and why it makes sense. It's going to hit you one day. It's, oh man, this Arabic language makes sense. The rules are very simple. It's just there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of qawaid, but it makes sense. Next word, bana'un, which means news or to inform. Right? I'm sorry. Naba'un. Right? Naba'un means news. So I'm adding alif lam on it. Al now because noon here is from hurufu shamsiyah. Right? We know that. I don't know why I don't have a lesson on that, but if I have to, I will bring a lesson for that later on. If I have to, if people don't know what that is. All right? I'll bring a lesson. You can use the Medina book 1 for that. What? Alif Lam is on the word naba'un, then it becomes an-naba'u. And we know we don't pronounce the lam part because noon is for huruf al-shamsiyya, right? There's a shadda on it. So it's what? An-naba'u. Next word, fakihatun, which means fruit. Al-fakihatu. Right? Makes sense. When Alif Lam is on the noun, then we know that it's not accept tanween, only one mark. The ending is ending one mark and not two. Very simple. Alif Lam on the word malikun becomes al-maliku, the ruler. Right? Simple. Fiddatun, which means silver. We put alif lam on the word al-fiddatu. Next word, yawmun, which means a day. Put alif lam on it, al-yawmu. Simple, easy, huh? Sahal, mashallah tabarak, sahal, very easy. All right, you must know this. This lesson, I'm gonna stop here. I just want to see what's in the next page. Next page next week, inshallah. Because I don't want to be too much for a lot of people. I don't know the level of everybody in the room. And I see some people left. Especially the ones who was asking me to do free lessons. They're the ones who leave first. SubhanAllah. People who ask the man of free lessons, they leave first. But next week, inshallah, next Friday, inshallah, 10 o'clock, Friday at 10, inshallah, we have the next lesson completing from the first chapter, explaining Nakira wal Marifa. Now, I want to end with this, inshallah. So, Alif Lam and Tanween is one of the signs that the word is a ism. The word or the noun qasid Alif Lam or Tanween at the end, Damatain, Kasratain, Fatatain is the sign that the word is al ism. And that's straight out from the Sharh of Afiyah ibn Malik. Sharh Afiyah ibn Malik. I'm sorry, the Metin of Afiyah ibn Malik, for example. So this book, like this book, you finish this book, you go through a lot of the lessons, you grab some vocab, a book like Al-Aruz Rumiyya, a book like Afiyah ibn Malik. This is a very high book in Nahu, very important book. It's like an intermediate to advanced book. Now you have to grasp some of the concepts from these books. When you go study a book like that, the concepts and the rules of grammar, you know them. You're familiarized with them. All right, so before we leave, you have any questions? This is the time right now. I give people like 5 minutes for any questions related to the lesson. Questions only about the lesson and future lessons. I give people time to write down their questions. Anybody have any questions? This is the time right now to write or ask any questions about the lesson or about coming lessons. This is the time right now to ask. And give 5 minutes to people to write out, just in case people are writing from their mobile app or whatever. Okay. I will answer these questions in a few minutes. I want you to write them all out. For the first question, does a sentence need definite or indefinite noun to make a sentence? That is a good question. I don't think you're ready for the answer. Do you need a sentence needs a definite and an indefinite noun to make a sentence? It depends. This is related to mubtada wa khabar. And this is related to also al-kalam. What is considered to be kalam in the Arabic language? And for that, we need to explain some rules before we get into that. Because I can have a noun, but I can have one noun, indefinite, definite, and I can have a particle with it, and the sentence can make sense. I can have a verb, and that's the sentence in Arabic. That could be a verb. Touch this. That's the sentence right there. Touch this. But you're not ready for that. What does touch this mean? Or I say ijlis. That is a sentence right there. So we got to understand what is kalam, what is jamla mufid. What is a complete sentence in Arabic? What's shubla jamla? And what's jamla mufid? Wow, basically jamla mufid means a beneficial sentence, but it means complete sentence. What's the condition to make a complete sentence? You understand? So that's another lesson for another day, inshallah. The answer is a lesson for another day. All right? Because I can have, does a sentence need definite or indefinite noun to make a sentence? No. Because if I say to you, ijlis, there's no noun, there's no what you call it, like a noun that has tanween in there. But there's a noun there. Ijlis is a hidden pronoun. Ijlis anta. Anta is a hidden pronoun. It's an ism. Right? It's an ism. It's a pronoun. It's hidden. Right? So some of these questions you're asking, you need to have a little bit more Arabic grammar with you, some of the grammar examples in Arabic with you. Then they start making a little bit more sense. All right. Mm. أريد أتعلم عربية, and I need to learn Arabic. You know, في لغة عربية, بعض الناس يعني يريد يدرس لغة عربية في بلد العرب. لماذا أقول في بلد العرب? You know, I said some people need to learn Arabic in the Arabic country. If you want to have good conversation in Arabic, you don't have to live in an Arabic speaking country. But it's good. You know why? If you get to go to a mahad or a school that focus on Arabic language in an Arabic speaking country, the main focal in the beginning of you there is to get you to speak, because you're forced to speak Arabic. If you're in an Arabic speaking country and you're learning Arabic, you're gonna have to use Arabic. You gotta go to the store, you gotta go to the doctor, you gotta go food shopping, you gotta go look for an apartment, you gotta look for this, you gotta speak Arabic with people, you gotta talk to people, you gotta travel on the bus, you gotta ask questions, you gotta ask for direction, you gotta be able to understand the people. All right. So if you really learn conversational Arabic, you could learn conversational Arabic here in America or wherever you live, if it's a Western country. But if you want to have really good in conversational Arabic, it's good to go overseas and study it. If you don't have the opportunity to study Arabic overseas, then you can learn conversational Arabic in the West or in a non-Arabic speaking country. You just need to have a good teacher. All right? And you need to understand some basic rules, and you need to have vocabulary. Mm. Any more questions? But need revision. Is there any opportunity for me? الصرف والنحو والبلاغة. You need a teacher. All that you just mentioned, you need a teacher. You can't learn that stuff on your own. Trust me. You cannot learn Arabic language on your own. You cannot learn Arabic language on. It's too hard. It's too complicated. You cannot learn on your own. You need to get a teacher who is qualified to teach Arabic. I can help you find a teacher online. I have some services where like مثل سمسار, a simsar, and a mifru simsar, like a simsar, a realtor, right? I find you a teacher. I can find you a teacher. I charge a small fee. We can talk about it offline. But I do have a service where I find teachers for students, right? A $50 fee, which is like a realtor fee, a service fee. I find you teachers from Egypt online. And what I do with the student, especially who doesn't have a lot of Arabic or no Arabic at all, I negotiate the teachers for them, the price between $7 to $8 an hour, between $7 to $8 an hour, and the number of hours you're going to study that month or that week. And I negotiate the price with the teacher, and I look for the teachers. I just don't grab any teacher. You know, I have on this website, Al Madrasa Al Ula. If you look on the website, I have a lot of if you see ads in Arabic, a lot of things you read in Arabic, or actually there are ads for teachers. So I have a lot of resumes, things like this, and I get certain teachers. I make them send me the degrees. I get them from Egypt because I lived in Egypt and I understand Egyptian people, the culture, and the education system. So I get the teachers from Egypt, and it's cheap. Egypt right now, it's really cheap. You know, $6, $7 an hour, $6 an hour, $8 an hour go a long way in Egypt. You know, it goes a long way in Egypt right now. So I get the teachers from Egypt online via Skype, and I take a $50 fee from you, which is via PayPal, and I negotiate looking for you the teachers. I have a group of teachers already. I get them to give me demonstrations, demos on how they teach. I look at their degree and I see how much they're worth. I look at the internet connection, if it's good or not, because I can have some really good teachers, very good. Whatever the internet connection is bad, you won't benefit from them. So I look at all these things when I bring teachers to the students, and I tell you how much they are worth, And I try to schedule with you, between you and the teacher, when you will have class. And that's for those people who don't speak Arabic, right? For teachers who speak Arabic and English, that's going to be a little bit, maybe $7 an hour, a little bit more money. but I negotiate still with that student and that teacher. Even sometimes they speak English, they might not understand certain things and conditions living in America, living in the UK, the time zone, the way of life, when people get paid. America people not that many people get paid salaries, meaning once a month. Some people get every week, every 2 weeks. So I try to explain certain things and cultural things to the teacher so he knows how to negotiate. If the teacher comes late or there's problems with the text or what you've been learning or the teacher being late, I try to fix all these problems and negotiate for the student and fix these problems between the student and the teacher and things like that. So that's what the type of service I offer. I had on the website at the Madrasa Ula, I had a few of my teachers there, but I no longer use them. I have a lot of new teachers. I just need to give them interviews and I need to sit down and figure out which teacher is who and have the time for the demonstration, the demo lessons. But I really didn't have a lot of time because I work as an imam part-time. And actually right now I am in the masjid. But I negotiate these things and I look to see which teachers are beneficial. And I have male and female teachers. And I also have Quran teachers. My inbox right now for Madrasa Ula is just full of teachers from Egypt. It's flooded. They be hitting me up all day. My emails and my email, they be blowing my stuff up all day with the CV and everything and these degrees and stuff. So I have a lot of teachers and stuff. So I just look for somebody that's compatible for the student, and I look at what the student wants so I can articulate what curriculum I can advise, what curriculum the student could use. Because sometimes the teacher got his own hustle and he wants to teach his own thing, and it might not be suitable for the students. Or the teacher might advise something for the student and he wants some book where he's not really ready for, right? So we could determine this with the teacher and the student together. I try to help them. I'm the middleman. You don't need a web link. Madrasa Ula, you can just find that right here. Go to the About page. Or you can contact me here and I try to negotiate that with the student, inshallah. And I give you my Skype information. And we just go talk about that through the email on inbox here or my email. And we just talk about finding the teacher like that. What I'm doing here right now, this is just for students who don't have no money, those who want to get a little bit extra, or those who want to get a little bit of extra, need some extra help. I'm just explaining this book to get those who want extra help. But those who, like you, Saleh, maybe what I'm explaining, you already been there, done that. What I'm teaching right now, you might need to teach a little bit more advanced. I will always recommend people who have a little bit Arabic already with them, study Arabic before to get that native Arabic teacher, native speaker who has qualification teaching Arabic. Every Arab don't have qualification teaching Arabic. All right? So I'll be able to do that for you, inshallah, to negotiate, because I have my ways of finding a whole bunch of teachers online, the internet, Facebook, a lot of websites. I know how to find teachers with no problem from Egypt. Because I live with those people in Egypt, and I'm married to one of them, so I already know how they think, and I know how to get teachers from there, especially from online. But any more questions? Anybody have any more questions about the lessons or future lessons? The lessons today or in the future lessons? Somebody asked me about the Arabic grammars. Does a sentence need definite and indefinite noun to make a sentence? That's related to al-mubtada wa khabar. You're not ready for that right now. And Jumla Mufid, you're not ready for that right now. Anybody else? Any more questions before I close out? Because I'm about to close out. I want to go to sleep. Aisha, Sister Aisha, you have any questions? Ameen wa iyaakum wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Sister Aisha. Sister Aisha, you have any questions? Because you're the one I start these lessons for. Some sisters asking me and brothers asking, majority women, they want some lessons. So you have any questions? I'm about to close. Inshallah. Ameen wa iyak. Okay, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.